Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another daily devotion. This devotion is being recorded to be broadcast on the morning of Tuesday, May 17th of 2022. We are working our way through the Gospel of Matthew. We're in chapter 13, and today we're going to almost finish chapter 13. Tomorrow we'll finish the whole thing. Today, we have the last two of this series of 8 parables that Jesus has been talking about here in this chapter. And so it's kind of a finale on the parables before we end up tomorrow talking about the rejection of Jesus. And then we get into talking about John the Baptist again in chapter 14. So let's look at verses 47 to 53 in chapter 13 of Matthew's Gospel. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and caught fish of every kind. When it was full, they drew it ashore, sat down, and put the good into baskets, but threw out the bad. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous, and throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all this? They answered, Yes. And he said to them, Therefore, every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like the master of a household, who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old. When Jesus had finished these parables, he left that place. Okay, well, that first parable, talking about the parable of the nets there, the fishing nets, catching the fish that are both good and bad. And that's not just in where there, again, this is just like the parable of the wheat and the tares, okay? It's not that the field or the water, here it's either translated as sea or lake. It's not that the water is just the body of the believers. It's not, the fish are not just those that are believing, it's the unbelieving. Those are the fish that are burned as the ones that haven't accepted Christ. It's not just because you do good or you don't do good. It's about believing in the message here. And that's what we get into in the next parable here. But here, at the end of the age, you have the separation, just like the wheat and the tares. You take the darnel and you burn it. You take the wheat and it's harvested. Here you take the fish that are the good fish and the fish that are bad fish. You keep the fish that are the good fish. Of course, you're going to eat them. But the bad fish, we burn them. They've been burned. They probably wouldn't have burnt them, actually, to be quite honest, not to pick at points, but they probably just threw them on the side of the sea and let the birds eat them, which would be just as pitiful of a plight. It's not unlike what we have in Gehenna with the gnashing of teeth and then wild animals come and devour and all of that, because Gehenna, of course, is the garbage dump in the valley, the Hinnom Valley. So that's what's going on there. It's really, it's basically, it's a restatement of the parable of the wheat and the tares. They're very, very much the same thing. And then he comes to that, have you understood all this? And they say, yeah, we got it. We're good. We've picked up on all of it. Yeah, right. And he said to them, Therefore, every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like the master of a household, who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old. So this is the use of the word scribe here would seem to indicate he's talking about those that are writing down the law. They're the ones that are keeping track of the Torah. They're the ones that are writing the scrolls. The scribes are doing this, and so they're writing it down. So they bring out the treasure, both the old treasure, the Old Testament. You're ahead of me, I'm sure. The Old Testament and the teachings of Jesus, the new teachings. Both are precious. Neither is something that we are going to discard. It's not that idea that we are Christians and therefore we just totally ditch the Old Testament and we pay no attention to that. Pay no attention to that man behind the screen. I digress. It's more that it's both. Both of these things are precious. They are. He brings out the treasure that is new and that is old. This is what he's brought to us. So we have that. The teachings of Jesus, of course, is what we mean by the new. So that's what we have. That's the end of the parables here in this chapter, at least. And so that's where we're at. Tomorrow we will talk about the rejection of Jesus, even after all this teaching. Go figure. So with that, I'm going to let you go for today. Please, please, please have a blessed day. And as always, be a blessing to someone today. And if you enjoy these devotions, these teachings, hey, like and subscribe and share. We'd love to have you here more often. We'd love to have more subscribers here at this channel. And we have a lot of playlists. If you look at the playlist, a lot of different books that we've studied. So your favorite book down there below. And if you don't see your favorite book, make a comment. Tell me what you'd like to see done next, because we're going to finish Matthew someday, and we'll have to move on to something else. God bless. See y'all tomorrow. Take care.